Hi guys, I'm Eric Snyder, owner and operator of Unity Property and Pest, located here in Mogadore, Ohio. What inspired me to start was back in 2020. I had been in the industry. I've been in pest control for about 12 years now. Home inspections, I'm coming up on my 10th year. But back in 2020, I was working for a really small operation located in Stowe. And he essentially didn't, he was okay with being just a certain size. I was doing the same number of inspections. Unfortunately, like I had kind of hit a ceiling as far as growth opportunities. So in 2020, it's when I finally launched and jumped out on my own to start this. COVID hadn't happened yet. So I launched, and probably 2 or 3 weeks later, the state announced that they were shutting down. And yeah, it was extremely frightening at the time. I ended up, right after that happened, I didn't have enough business to generate in order to keep myself afloat, especially during that time when everything got shut down. People weren't letting people into their house for pest control. People weren't really buying houses during that time. So I ended up having to go and find a job working nights for probably the first year of my business. Yeah. So the story behind the name essentially is just unifying the two services that we offer. So not only are we a fully licensed pest control outfit here, but we are also licensed home inspectors for real estate inspections, people buying, selling properties, whether it be radon testing, mold, sewer scope inspections, so on and so forth. Well, we're local. We're family owned and operated. You just get a little bit more of a family touch here. And then also just combining the two services. We're really kind of a one-stop shop, especially for a lot of real estate agents across Northeast Ohio. People buying and selling homes, but we protect them past that point. So typically you get a home inspection when you buy. It might be the only house that you ever buy, but at the same time, you need to protect that investment for years to come, keep it bug-free, keep it pest-free, and that's where we kind of step in as that one-stop shop. Most common issues I find during a home inspection, the purpose of a home inspection is just to get all the information about the house you're trying to purchase. When I started in the industry, 10 years ago, I would walk through what they would claim as being a really nice flipped house, and it looks beautiful. Everything's new, everything looks great, and you come to find out that there's a lot of hidden defects with the house that somebody me, even at the very beginning, I'd walk through and I wasn't aware of. The trust building goes in just because we come in and we give them a full detail inspection and we go through every portion of their house so that they have all the facts before they make that final decision. I was doing a home inspection for a client up in Cleveland, and walking around the outside of the house, I noticed one of the windows was kind of a little dislodged. The grade was really poor, going towards the house, and noticed that it looked like it was bowing a little bit from the inside. So I was like, okay, well, I finished the outside, and I have a rhythm when I do a home inspection. I start on the outside, roof, attic, work my way down to the basement. So by the time I get down to the basement portion of it, they had built and framed a wall around the damage. So it looked perfect, it looked level, it looked uniform, and they even skim coated it and painted it to match the rest of the block walls down there. And they bumped it out about 8 inches. So come to find out that wall was actually caving in, and instead of fixing the problem, they just tried to build a wall around it to try to hide it from the potential buyer. I'm sure the sellers might have been upset that I found it, but for that buyer, who would have, if that wall would have caved in and stuff like that, oh my goodness, man. I gave them all the facts about the property, so now at least they were able to go back and possibly negotiate, for a possible price reduction or repair or something along those lines. But they had all the facts before they moved forward on that. A pest people commonly overlook would be wood destroying insects. So for us, we always try to emphasize the fact of doing annual pest inspections on your property, because, for example, and this is kind of where the two services go in hand, if we're doing a home inspection for you and we go in and you get a clean bill of health, there's no evidence of any wood destroying insects at that time, that does not mean in 12 months that you're going to be wood destroying insect free. So one of the things that people commonly overlooked is they don't do that, and years go by and termites are getting into some of their floor joists, into some of their sill plates, coming up some of their wall voids, and a lot of people that don't know what they're looking for won't recognize it, won't see it until all of a sudden they're going to do a remodel project or something and realize there's extensive damage. And now Unfortunately, with a lot of the insurance companies, that's not insurable because it's a preventable situation. And one of the ways to get ahead of that is just by having an annual pest inspection on your property, just to make sure that you're good, or if there is something, try to catch it at the very beginning to where it can be rectified before anything outrageous happens. Like, one thing people should be doing to prevent pests would be obviously hiring us. But even besides that, keeping windows, checking screens, sealing up gaps around the home, keeping grass trimmed away, make sure grading is proper around the foundation and everything like that. Basically what we consider like conducive conditions. Red flags that potential homeowners could be looking for when touring a home, it's kind of a tough one, only because there's just so many things that could be, negative grade could be an effect on a house. It might not be, it could be, but what I would just suggest with anybody that's trying to tour a house or anything else like that they might be interested in, and they make an offer on and they get under contract, is get a home inspection. And I would say this to if anybody was buying a brand new build or anything else like that. It could be meticulous, it could be perfect, it could look amazing, it could be all these things, and it could be those things. But still, having that inspection just so you have all the facts before you make a purchase on a property. You hear a lot of people using a lot of home remedies. I've heard of a lot over the years, whether it just be baking soda in the corners, essential oils, lavender. I've heard people using white vinegar, Dawn dish soap, mixing certain things to spray in certain areas. The problem really, I haven't seen them work the way that people want them to work. Not that I knock it or anything else like that, because if you see success from it, fantastic. But what comes really with hiring a pest control company is the knowledge, the experience, where they're getting in from, where they're coming, where they might be harboring, where they might be nesting, so on and so forth, so we can really address the problem the way it should be and actually get the client true results. So a lot in the COVID era, what was happening is a lot of people were waiving their home inspections as a result to try to increase their offer, to make their offer more attractive, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, what I've just experienced is a lot of people would hire us after the fact. And we would go in and inspect their property and realize there was a lot of major things going on that they were not aware of. And now, owning that property, they're on the hook for them. So, there is such thing as doing an inspection and doing it for a knowledge base only, to where it doesn't affect the sale of a house, it doesn't affect anything that might be going on, but it still allows that buyer, potential buyer, or whoever might be hiring our services out to have all those facts before, still giving them the opportunity, if something's so catastrophic that they're not willing to go forward with it, having the opportunity to walk away from it. I remember when I bought my house was right around the very end of 2020, beginning of 2021. And I was putting 4 or 5 offers on different properties and was getting beat out. And it's just like, that was just a crazy time for anybody trying to purchase a house, because I had so many people that would hire me out after the fact. They had just closed a couple weeks before. And now, like, for example, I had one where every single floor joist went like this. Every floor joist through the whole house. She's like, what can I do? Can I turn around and sell this? I'm like, well, yeah, but now you have to disclose all of this. I'm like, it's sad, really. I mean, because a lot of these people got in some financial situations that there was really no recourse for, because they moved forward, waived inspections, They should do it. Well, if somebody's on the fence about getting an inspection, I mean, whether we're biased or not, like, they should, whether it be with us or another trusted local company. I know a lot of them in the area that do amazing inspections, do amazing work. It's just like, they should. It's a drop in the bucket as far as price on what you get. For the knowledge and all the facts about the property you're trying to purchase, it's really just it's a drop in the bucket as far as price. Not only like sharing the facts and everything about it, but improvement items, things to consider, FYIs, like, here's what we would recommend and why, and everything else like that. So they have all the facts, and when they go in, they have a plan of action too. Best way for people to get in touch with us or book a service would be looking us up online. They can check us out at unitypropertyandpest.com. They can reach us at our office at 330-957-2178. Check us out on Facebook, check us out on Instagram. We'd love the opportunity to earn your business. We do have our program. It's called our Worry-Free Pest Program. It's for residential. Typically, it is a quarterly service where we come out every spring, summer, fall, winter, take care of all of your GPC. And what I mean by that is like all your general pests, whether it be your ants, your spiders, flies, so on and so forth. And we even have an additional with our rodent package to keep any rodents or anything like that out of your house. Great thing about that service is that we're scheduled out to your house 4 times a year, but if you have an issue in between services, all you do is give our office a call and we come back out at no additional cost. My job in 3 words is absolutely freaking crazy. One thing I wish every homeowner knew was how awesome our company is and that we can take care of all their inspection and pest control needs. When you see any unwanted pests or guests, give us a call. What I love most about with my community is just taking care of all their pest needs and solving all their problems. Nobody wants unwanted pests or guests. It's just that simple. And when they call, it's usually an issue, and I love the ability to be able to come out and solve their problems for them. Yeah, so as far as businesses that we work with in the area, we do work with a lot. So we specialize in residential, but we also specialize in commercial. We do a lot of commercial work. We work with a lot of local school systems in the area, a lot of restaurants. Obviously, you think of it, restaurants, bars, diners, a lot of drive-ins, you name it, we do it. Any stories that I can recall that changed somebody's life? Well, so this happens quite a bit. You know, like I said, the ability to come out and solve people's problems is like just a passion of mine. It's something I truly enjoy, and just being able to solve their problem so they can rest easy at night. But had a gentleman named George, a sweet, loving old man. He had been battling bed bugs for, it had been a couple years, to the point where, you know, he was older, had troubles with breathing, had troubles with his health, but he could no longer sleep in his room or his bed, and, you know, was basically sleeping on his living room floor with a sleeping bag. And we went in, and it was probably one of the worst I had seen. But we ended up, with 2 of us, we ended up spending a good part of like probably 5 to 6 hours in just his little studio apartment, really getting that taken care of for him and getting that remedied. We went back and checked on him 2 days later. We were scheduled for his follow-up within a week. He had been back in his bed. He had been sleeping, and it's like one of the first nights that he had been able to actually sleep all the way through the night. And it's just like those things right there, just like being able, I know it's like we talk about, we deal with bugs, you know, and people are like, well, it's bugs, you know, but at the same time, like this poor guy had just been suffering with it for so many years, to where it's just like for him just to be able to sleep a full, peaceful night without getting chewed alive, I mean, that was enough, you know?
You removed mother-in-laws?
Well, for the right price, I guess. Bring that. I don't know. Help me sum this up in 3 words, guys. Ryan Shan. Oh, that's a good one. I was like absolutely freaking crazy. You know,